let's get back to clothing. Yeah? You want to talk fashion?
Sure, I want to talk fashion.
What's up?
There's a problem with not having school uniforms, which kind of transcends constitutionality, and that's the fact of the matter is that we're an educational institution. Our job is to educate people. Now, the problem with having free dress is that it can be very distracting, as Avi noted. And I'm not just talking about cleavage hanging out, although that can be very disturbing to certain people. No, my bigger problem here is that...
I don't have a problem with it.
There are problems with people. But my bigger problem here is that there are slogans on shirts that can have some very interesting academic effects, including, recently we can't wear shirts with guns on it. Well, that's infringing my freedom of expression. I don't think that's harming anybody, but there it is. We can't have shirts with guns on it. You know why? Because some people are offended by guns. Some people don't want to be surrounded by imagery of guns and gore and violence. And somehow, uniforms just seem to cut down on that just a little, when you have only like 3 different color shirts to wear, you can't exactly do much with it. And it's just really, when you're going around campus and you're supposed to be learning, and there's a girl with a lot hanging out of her skirt that you don't need to see, and you're walking around, and that's really bad for the environment itself. There's an academic environment. There's certain hormones that shouldn't be running through your body when you're trying to take a test. And certain hormones are triggered when there are things hanging out of your skirt. And then, of course, there are certain reactions in your brain going on when there's things hanging out of your skirt with rashes on them that you don't need to see. Okay, there are things you don't want to see. There are things that are very detrimental to your academic process that have a lot to do with the human body that we don't need to see. Believe it or not, uniforms stop that. So, hey.
Where'd you go there? Oh, God.
Anthony, it's Byung, come on.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Shake, please tell me you have something to get my mind off of it.
And in response to Byung's argument, we already have something that prevents this. It just has a lack of enforcement, which is not a cause for school uniforms, but it's called a dress code. And it can prevent this if it's properly enforced, and a dress code does not infringe on our constitutional liberties.
All right, Jake, you bring him an excellent point. Why is a school uniform any different from our current dress code? What are some of the implications you can draw from that? Why not just have a greater enforced dress code rather than go all out with a school uniform? What would be the lesser evil? Anyone want to discuss that? Anyone have any ideas, thoughts? Besides Jake? Anyone? All right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, to say, why shouldn't we just have, a more enforced dress code? It's because of the ambiguity of a dress code. It's like, okay, your skirt can't be this, long. Well, then when, you see walking down the street and you're like, oh, hey, and the shit goes like this. I mean, it's like you can't be, doing everything to a T because, the closer you get, the more it becomes sexual assault. So you can't be so particular about every single little thing about the dress code, and to enforce that would be ridiculous considering our school is 4,000 people.
Kathleen, where's your hand up?
Having a school uniform would also 100% guarantee that there would no longer be inappropriate clothing around. Having just a dress code, and even if it was more strictly enforced, it is pretty strictly enforced here. I have a friend that gets dress coded almost every week, but there's people that wear way less clothes than her. It's disturbing. So the easier option would just be a school uniform so that it would just completely eradicate it.
All right, I'm going to say something now, because I want to do this all the time. Well, to go back to what you said about inappropriate clothing, and what Byung also brought up about offensivity, and how just, get rid of that, and because people are going to complain about it. Well, you know what else would happen? This. Shirts like mine would also no longer exist inside the high school. You can't tell, my shirt has the periodic table of elements. The periodic table of elements is one of the cornerstones of chemistry and basically all of physical science. It is an educational t-shirt that has a lot of value to the educational system. So if there was dress codes or some sort of school uniform policy, then I would no longer be able to have this and spread that to my friends. So I'm hanging out with Byung, and we're having an intelligent conversation about chemistry, and bring up, is argon weigh more or less than beryllium? And you say, well, you know what? We've got the atomic mass right here, and you can see that, yes, argon does weigh more than beryllium. And so therefore, I'm spreading knowledge to my good friend Byung, who is now smarter for having spoken with me. And additionally, say, I'm in the classroom and we're also having another discussion. I can say, oh, well, you need to check your facts right here on my chest because, right, this is the periodic table of elements. You can't refute that. And so there's also school uniforms would also get rid of good things as well, not just offensive AK-47s.
Okay. So I think what a lot of people were saying earlier, before you started talking, was that there are always exigent circumstances with a dress code. And I am also an exigent circumstance. You have the periodic table. Does your periodic table happen to have Einsteinium on there?
Should.
Where is that? It's like right here, right? Einsteinium offends me.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it starts with 2 vowels. And that offends me. If we had a dress code, that wouldn't be there. If I get enough people that say words that start with 2 vowels offend me, we could go and sign a petition and that shirt could be against dress code. Just saying. It's something to think about. I'm an exigent circumstance.
Take that circumstance and shove it in your ass. Yes, Kathleen.
I also would like to ask what you're learning from the T-shirts with the naked women on it, also, because I am really offended by that. I think that degrades women. Those shirts are really disgusting. Like honestly, you can wear your periodic table shirt. I am not offended by that, but that I am.
Well, I think obviously offended by
I'm very
it.
offended.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a petition tomorrow.
Well, I'll start a petition to get rid of, make sure you pull up your pants. I'm sick and tired of seeing your ass. All right. Okay.
Avi and someone else has mentioned before, Byung, about how people just go, oh, this offends me, and multiple people say it, and then all of a sudden it's against rules. That's not true. Just because something offends you, like, say there's cussing on a television show, which there's a lot. Someone goes, oh, that offends me, so I want cussing on television banned. You can't do that because you can change the channel. You can simply ignore the person. Just because something offends you, if it does not hurt you or trample on your rights, you can't make it illegal just because it offends you. It has to violate your rights or hurt you in some way other than it offends me, I don't like it, before you can actually make something illegal or ban it. And then with the T-shirts with naked women on them, that can be banned according to a dress code without violating constitutional liberties because there are limitations to the First Amendment, such as clear and present danger, and also vulgarity as well, and libel and slander.
Okay, there are a lot of things. Okay, how do I say this without sounding? Okay.
Just say it.
Yeah, yes, the simple basis that something offends somebody else you can make it against the rules because it offends you. Think of how many derogatory terms you know. Are they allowed to be said on campus and just out loud? I don't think so, but they're not hurting you in any way besides, oh, it offends me.
Also, add on to that, Avi, I could say, your clothing offends me, and make sure to where you have to come to school and
Right, that's why we should all have uniforms.
No, that's exactly why we shouldn't. Right?
Wait, what?
Go.
Okay, first off, in response to Jake's statement that just because something offends you, it can't be banned, that's not true. If you ever go to your state test and you have a math problem that says, Joe mows the lawn in 6 hours, but Kathleen mows the lawn in 4 hours. It will never say that Kathleen mows the lawn in 6 hours and Joe mows the lawn in 4 hours. You know why? Because every feminist in the world will suddenly go, there is a lawsuit right here. You have said that just because I am a woman, that I cannot mow the lawn faster than Joe can. And I am offended by that.
What if Joe's a girl?
See?
Joe's
I don't know. know, but apparently Joe can't spell that out faster than Kathleen. But what if my name starts with J and now I'm offended, huh? You know, yes, things can be banned because it offends people, because trust me, the feminists have done it all. Moving on. Anthony, you said that your shirt has valuable information on me.
Damn straight.
So tell me, are there any more valuable, more useful, perhaps more reliable, and more credible sources of chemistry than your chest? Like, say, a science, textbook, or maybe, the nice internet that has pictures of the periodic table everywhere. Furthermore, yeah, I love your shirt. Could you wear that with me to the AP Chem test, please? I could totally use that. Yeah, right? I have seen, there are some great shirts with like nice little unit circle. If you guys know what that is from pre-cal, would be so great on my calc test. You don't even know. I'm bad at the unit circle. I would love for these shirts to be around, It's called cheating. I can't just wear a shirt with a periodic table to the AP Chem test. You'd think that, someone might not make it take it off. There are issues with... Please do.
No.
Anyways,
You gotta pay for that.
there are issues with these things, and there are a lot of issues. There's too much potential cheating, there's too much potential for offending people, and yes, that can ban things, that I don't see any reason why we shouldn't have school uniforms, which kind of, uniform things, makes everything smoother, easier. There's no more ambiguity, there's no more sexual harassment for checking the length of your skirt by some old man cop, none of that's going to be happening anymore. Everyone's happier, people.
I'm not, because I won't get to wear my shirt.
I'm fine with that.
You wear underneath.
Okay, so, yeah, you brought up offensivity and how they could cheat, especially with my shirt in particular. Anyone have any other ideas concerning that? Anything else to rebut? Potentially? Or any other ideas that you have yet to bring up?
Concerning what?
Anything.
Can I rebut Jake just to do it?
Yeah.
Jake! Yes. I forgot what you said. I'm pretty sure you said something else along the lines of there's profanity on TV, so we can't ban the TV show. We don't change the channel, but the naked girls and the shirts can be banned. There's naked girls on TV too. Haven't you ever seen like Spartacus? There's a lot of naked girls on that show. It's pretty terrible actually. But you can't ban the show though. My mom tried. She saw me watch it. No, I'm just kidding. But so it's apples to oranges basically in your argument. School is different. School can be regulated. School's got a lot more rules and things that we kind of succumb to by coming to school, and then we realize if we don't come to school, then we're truant, and then we got to go to court. Terrible situation. So having naked girls on shirts is bad, and having naked girls on TV shows is bad. So we should all have uniforms so that we can all be wearing the same things, and there would be less ambiguity. People say ambiguity a lot. It's a fun word to say. And that shirt offends me still. What else was I gonna say? Okay, that's it. That was apples and oranges. I only like oranges. Apples are every texture. Any texture.
Just to settle this right now, apples or oranges? Apples?
Oranges.
Wait, what kind of
What kind of apples?
What kind of apple?
Red delicious, motherfucker.
Anyways.
My bad. Okay.